He didn't remember his parents' only cold metal of a trash bin in a dim corner of Mumbai and the rough hands that pulled him out of it. Those hands belonged to the man everyone called Boss. Boss raised him in the ghetto, a maze of crumbling walls, smoky rooms, and men who never smile. The air was always thick with the scent of tobacco, cheap liquor, and fear. Boss gave him food, a bed, and purpose. Caleb learned early that love in that world came with chains. By 19, he was the sharpest runner in Boss's empire, buying hard drugs, selling them at school, bringing every cent back. He was smart, quiet, and quick. Too quick. Boss loved him for it. The others hated him for the same reason. And Caleb pretended not to care. He spent his days between detention rooms and dark alleys, his nights listening to men fight or beg for their lives in the next room. He didn't have friends, he didn't have peace, he just had the work and the endless noise in his head. Then one night, Boss called him over. "You'll drive with the main crew tonight," Boss said. "Big shipment, don't screw it up." It was supposed to be a promotion. It felt like a trap. Still, Caleb climbed into the driver's seat of the van, eyes flicking to Jason, one of the older guys. Jason smiled like he was already planning something. The road to the docks was silent except for the hum of the engine and the quiet laughter behind him. When they reached the port, the sea was calm, the air cold. They loaded boxes of white powder under the moonlight. Everything seemed smooth. Then Jason called, "Hey, driver boy, grab us a drink over there." He tossed some cash with a smirk. "Hey," Caleb frowned, but went. There was no drink stand, no people, just old ships and the faint echo of the waves. Then came the sirens. Bright lights, screams, running feet. He turned back just in time to see the van's doors slam shut. The tires screeched. "Wait!" he shouted, sprinting toward it, but they were gone. He stood there, helpless, until a voice behind him froze his blood. "Put your hands on your head. Turn around." It was firm, deep, and cold, a voice that could command the night itself. Caleb slowly lifted his hands. Boots crunched behind him. When he turned, his breath caught. The man walking toward him wasn't like the others. Tall, steady. His uniform fit him like it was made for him. Eyes sharp but calm, mouth set in quiet control. He looked like someone sculpted from order itself, everything Caleb's chaotic world wasn't. The officer cuffed him, voice low and cutting. "You're under arrest." 3 words, simple, ordinary. But the tone, calm, confident, almost gentle, struck something deep in Caleb. It wasn't fear, it wasn't anger. It was something else, something dangerous. He didn't even notice the cuffs tighten or the car door slam. All he could remember was that face, that voice. For the first time, his heart wasn't racing from running or fighting. It was from something he couldn't name. At the station, Caleb sat in the interrogation room, gray walls, flickering light. The officer came in, dropped a file on the table, and leaned forward. "Caleb Singh," he said, eyes locking on him. 19, multiple detentions, no family, but clean on major records. "Who do you work for?" Caleb stared at him, lost between guilt and fascination. The officer's presence filled the room, calm, collected, magnetic. The kind of man who could make someone confess without lifting a finger. He didn't answer. He couldn't. Something in him was fighting something else, reason against feeling. The officer sighed. "You don't want to talk? Fine, but your friends left you. Think about that." He stood up to leave, but paused, noticing the way Caleb's eyes followed him, quietly, almost helplessly. In that brief silence, something unspoken passed between them. Curiosity, tension, something neither could define. From that night onward, Caleb's mind wasn't the same. It wasn't the cuffs, the cell, or the betrayal that haunted him. It was him. The officer, his calm voice, his stillness, his eyes that saw through every lie. The charm of that man became his new prison. And no matter how far he tried to run from his past, from his guilt, from the gang, it was the memory of that one moment, those 3 words that held him captive. "You're under arrest,"